Success has been sold to us as something we have to hunt, outrun, and somehow catch before someone else does. But what if that idea is completely backward? What if success is not a destination waiting at the end of an exhausting race, but a response to the person you become along the way? Think about that for a moment, because it changes everything. Most people spend their lives chasing opportunities, chasing recognition, chasing money, chasing approval, chasing the next achievement, believing that one more victory will finally make them feel successful. Yet every finish line creates another finish line, every milestone reveals another mountain, and every achievement whispers that perhaps the next one will finally be enough. That is not success. That is survival disguised as ambition. The people who leave the greatest mark on the world are rarely the ones obsessed with catching success. They are the ones obsessed with becoming so valuable, so consistent, so trustworthy, and so committed to a meaningful purpose that success has no choice but to find them. Imagine planting a tree. You cannot pull on its branches to make it grow faster. You cannot stand beside it every morning shouting at it to become taller. Growth happens beneath the surface long before anyone notices it above the ground. The roots spread first. They grow quietly, patiently, invisibly. And because they are strong, the tree can eventually stand against storms, produce fruit, and provide shade for generations. Your character is your root system. Your habits are your roots. Your discipline is your roots. Your integrity is your roots. Everyone celebrates the fruit, but almost nobody applauds the roots. That is why so many people want visible success without invisible growth. They want applause before effort, rewards before responsibility, and recognition before mastery. But life has never worked that way, and it never will. Success is attracted by preparation. It is attracted by consistency. It is attracted by people who continue showing up when nobody is watching. The truth is, every single day you are sending signals to the world. Your actions announce your priorities before your words ever get the chance. Your consistency tells people whether they can trust you. Your attitude tells people whether they want to work with you. Your willingness to learn tells people whether you are ready for greater opportunities. The question is not whether opportunities exist. The question is whether the person you are becoming is prepared to receive them. Because opportunities often arrive disguised as responsibility. They come wearing work clothes instead of trophies. They ask for patience before they offer progress. They demand sacrifice before they deliver significance. And that is where most people turn around. They mistake discomfort for failure when, in reality, discomfort is often the price of transformation. Every meaningful change begins with discomfort because growth always asks you to become someone you have never been before. Think about the people you admire the most. Chances are you do not admire them simply because they achieved something extraordinary. You admire them because of how they carried themselves while pursuing it. You admire their resilience after setbacks, their humility after victories, their courage when uncertainty surrounded them, and their commitment when quitting would have been easier. Their success is impressive, but their character is unforgettable. That is the difference. Achievements inspire people for a moment. Character influences people for a lifetime. If your only goal is to collect accomplishments, you may impress others for a while. But if your goal is to become a person of integrity, generosity, courage, and excellence, you create a life that naturally attracts trust, partnerships, opportunities, and lasting success. The world does not need more people who know how to look successful. It needs more people who know how to become valuable. Value cannot be faked. It cannot be rented. It cannot be borrowed from social media or manufactured through appearances. It is earned through daily decisions that seem small until one day they become impossible to ignore. Every promise you keep strengthens your reputation. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your confidence. Every lesson you learn expands your capacity. Every act of kindness deepens your influence. None of these things make headlines overnight, but together they build a life that speaks before you even enter the room. There is incredible power in becoming the kind of person whose presence creates confidence, whose words create hope, and whose actions create results. That kind of person never has to convince the world of their worth, because their life becomes the evidence. We often ask, how do I become successful? Perhaps a better question is, who do I need to become? Because once you become the right person, many of the things you've been chasing begin moving toward you instead. Doors open because people trust you. Relationships deepen because people respect you. Opportunities multiply because people believe in your ability to create value. Notice that none of these things happen because you demanded them. They happen because you became someone worthy of them. And that journey never ends. Becoming is a lifelong commitment. Every morning offers another chance to choose discipline over distraction, service over selfishness, excellence over excuses, and purpose over comfort. Those choices rarely feel dramatic in the moment, but over months and years, they separate extraordinary lives from ordinary ones. The greatest victories are rarely won in public. They are won in private moments when nobody is cheering, when motivation has disappeared, when the easy option is calling your name, and you choose the harder path anyway. That decision shapes your future more than any speech, any book, or any lucky break ever could, because your future is built one decision at a time. The beautiful thing about attracting success is that it shifts your focus away from things you cannot control and places it firmly on things you can. You cannot control the economy, other people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, or perfect timing, but you can control your effort. You can control your mindset. You can control your willingness to improve. You can control the promises you make and keep. Those are powerful controls because they determine the quality of the person you are becoming. And when the right opportunity finally appears, you will not need to scramble to become ready. You will already be ready because preparation has become your lifestyle. There is a quiet confidence that belongs to people who know they have done the work. They do not need to boast because their preparation speaks for itself. They do not panic when challenges appear because challenges reveal the strength they have been building all along. Confidence is not pretending to have all the answers. Confidence is trusting that you can learn whatever the next chapter requires. That kind of confidence attracts people because it creates stability in uncertain times. People naturally follow those who remain calm when everyone else is consumed by fear. They trust those who keep their promises, who admit their mistakes, who continue learning, and who refuse to compromise their values for temporary gain. Success built on shortcuts disappears as quickly as it arrives. Success built on character becomes a foundation that lasts. So stop measuring your life only by outcomes. Measure it by growth. Measure it by the quality of your relationships. Measure it by your willingness to serve others. Measure it by the courage you show when life becomes difficult. Measure it by the promises you keep to yourself even when nobody else knows you made them. Because every one of those choices shapes the person who eventually attracts extraordinary opportunities. Remember that the world responds to authenticity far more than perfection. People connect with honesty, effort, resilience, and hope. They remember how you made them feel long after they forget the details of what you said. That is why your greatest influence will never come from pretending to have a perfect life. It will come from demonstrating what it looks like to keep moving forward despite imperfection. Your scars can become someone else's roadmap. Your persistence can become someone else's permission to keep going. Your example can become someone else's turning point. That is the remarkable thing about purpose-driven living. It creates ripples that extend far beyond your own success. When you focus on contributing rather than competing, serving rather than showing off, and growing rather than comparing, you stop living from a place of scarcity. You realize there is enough opportunity for everyone willing to create value. You stop seeing other people's victories as threats and start seeing them as proof of what is possible. That shift changes your energy. It changes your relationships. It changes your decisions. And over time, it changes your life. Every day asks the same simple question. Will you chase appearances or will you build substance? Appearances demand constant maintenance because they depend on what others think. Substance grows stronger with time because it depends on who you choose to become. Build substance, build wisdom, build resilience, build generosity, build courage, build discipline, build integrity. Those qualities will outlast every trend, every market shift, and every obstacle life places in your path. Years from now, people may forget the awards you received or the titles you held, but they will remember how you treated them, how you inspired them, how you stood firm when it mattered most, and how your presence made them believe they could become better themselves. That is the kind of success worth attracting. So as you leave here today, I want you to remember one thought whenever you feel tempted to chase what everyone else is running after. Do not ask, how can I catch success? Ask instead, how can I become the kind of person success cannot ignore? Let that question guide your mornings, your decisions, your conversations, your work ethic, your leadership, and your dreams. Because when purpose becomes your compass, excellence becomes your habit, and service becomes your legacy, success stops being something you desperately pursue. It becomes the natural outcome of a life lived with intention, consistency, courage, an unwavering commitment to becoming the very best version of yourself. And when that day arrives, you will realize something extraordinary. You were never really chasing success at all. You were building a life so meaningful, so valuable, and so authentic that success simply found its way to you. The person you become determines the life you live. And that truth is far more powerful than most people realize, because we spend so much of our time trying to change our circumstances while ignoring the one thing that creates those circumstances in the first place. We look for better opportunities, better jobs, better relationships, better luck, and better timing, believing that if something outside of us changes, everything inside of us will finally feel complete. But life has a different way of working. The quality of your future is shaped by the quality of your character. The direction of your life is determined by the direction of your daily choices. Every habit you repeat, every promise you keep, every challenge you face with courage, and every lesson you choose to learn is quietly shaping the person you are becoming. Long before success becomes visible to the world, transformation begins in places no one else can see. It begins in your thoughts, your values, your discipline, and your willingness to grow when there is no audience applauding your effort. That is why two people can stand in the same room, face the same opportunities, and experience completely different outcomes. The difference is rarely the opportunity itself. The difference is the person each individual has become before the opportunity arrived. Many people believe that confidence appears after success, but real confidence is built before success ever arrives. It grows each time you keep a commitment to yourself. It grows each time you choose progress over excuses. It grows each time you continue moving forward despite uncertainty. Confidence is not the result of having an easy life. It is the result of proving to yourself over and over again that you can handle difficult moments without giving up. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence that you are stronger than you were yesterday. Every setback you survive becomes proof that your potential is greater than your fear. Little by little, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for permission to succeed, and you begin seeing yourself as someone capable of creating value wherever you go. Think about a sculptor standing in front of a massive block of stone. To everyone else, it looks like an ordinary piece of rock, heavy, rough, and lifeless. But the sculptor sees something different. Hidden inside that stone is a masterpiece waiting to be revealed. Every strike of the chisel removes something unnecessary. Every careful cut brings the true form closer to the surface. Growth works the same way. Becoming a better person is not always about adding more knowledge, more possessions, or more achievements. Sometimes it is about removing the habits that weaken you, removing the fears that limit you, removing the excuses that keep you comfortable, and removing the beliefs that tell you that you are incapable of becoming more. Every decision to let go of what no longer serves you creates room for the person you are meant to become. There is a dangerous illusion in today's world that appearances matter more than substance. People spend enormous energy trying to look successful before they become successful. They focus on creating an image instead of creating a foundation. But appearances can only carry someone so far. Eventually, life asks every person the same question. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when things stop going your way? Who are you when you fail? Who are you when success takes longer than expected? Those moments reveal your true identity far more than your greatest victories ever could. Character is not developed during easy seasons. It is revealed during difficult ones. Pressure has a remarkable way of exposing what already exists beneath the surface. Imagine planting two seeds in different types of soil. One is placed in rich, healthy ground. The other is planted where nothing can truly grow. At first, both seeds look exactly the same. Days pass, then weeks, then months. Eventually, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. One develops strong roots, healthy branches, and lasting fruit. The other struggles to survive. Human potential works in much the same way. Your mindset is the soil where your future grows. If your thoughts are filled with bitterness, doubt, envy, and fear, those emotions shape every decision you make. If your mind is filled with gratitude, discipline, curiosity, resilience, and hope, those qualities influence every action you take. Your external life is often a reflection of your internal world. People often ask why success seems to come naturally to certain individuals. They assume those people were simply fortunate or born with extraordinary advantages. While circumstances certainly matter, there is something even more important. Successful people usually spend years becoming the kind of individuals who are prepared for opportunities before those opportunities appear. They read when others scroll endlessly. They practice when others procrastinate. They learn from criticism while others become defensive. They remain students even after achieving remarkable accomplishments. They understand that becoming is more important than arriving because every destination eventually becomes another starting point. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that change must happen all at once. They wait for dramatic breakthroughs, life-changing moments, or perfect motivation before taking action. Yet transformation rarely announces itself with fireworks. It arrives quietly through ordinary decisions repeated consistently over time. Reading 10 pages a day may seem insignificant until it becomes hundreds of books across a lifetime. Exercising for 30 minutes may seem ordinary until it becomes years of health and energy. Speaking kindly may seem simple until it transforms every important relationship you have. Small actions shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. The people you admire most did not wake up one morning transformed into extraordinary individuals. They became extraordinary through countless ordinary moments. They chose integrity when dishonesty seemed easier. They chose patience when frustration tempted them. They chose responsibility when blame offered temporary comfort. They chose consistency when excitement disappeared. Those choices rarely attracted attention in the moment, but over time they built lives that inspired others. Greatness is often hidden inside routines that seem too small to matter until years reveal their true impact. There is enormous freedom in understanding that you cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always become who you become because of it. Every disappointment offers a choice. You can become bitter or wiser. Every failure offers a choice. You can become discouraged or determined. Every criticism offers a choice. You can become defensive or teachable. Every obstacle offers a choice. You can become someone who complains or someone who adapts. Life continually presents opportunities for growth disguised as difficulties. The outcome depends less on the event itself and more on the person responding to it. Your identity is built through repetition. Every action casts a vote for the kind of person you believe yourself to be. When you act with honesty, you reinforce the identity of an honest person. When you act with discipline, you strengthen the identity of a disciplined person. When you act with courage, despite fear, you reinforce the belief that courage belongs to you. Over time, these repeated choices become habits, habits become character, and character becomes the lens through which you approach every opportunity and challenge. Comparison is one of the greatest distractions from personal growth because it shifts your focus away from becoming your best self and toward competing with someone else's journey. There will always be people who have more money, more recognition, more experience, or more influence. If comparison becomes your standard, satisfaction will always remain out of reach. Growth begins when you stop measuring your progress against others and start measuring it against the person you were yesterday. Every improvement matters. Every lesson matters. Every step forward matters because your journey is uniquely yours. People who create meaningful lives are not necessarily those with perfect circumstances. They are the people who refuse to let imperfect circumstances define their identity. They continue learning during uncertainty. They continue serving despite disappointment. They continue believing despite setbacks. Their resilience becomes their advantage because they understand that difficult seasons are temporary while the person they become through those seasons can remain forever. Purpose transforms effort. Without purpose, discipline feels like punishment. With purpose, discipline becomes an investment. Without purpose, challenges feel unfair. With purpose, challenges become opportunities to grow stronger. Purpose gives meaning to sacrifice because it reminds you that every difficult decision is shaping someone capable of achieving something greater than immediate comfort could ever provide. The conversations you have with yourself matter more than you realize. If you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, unlucky, or destined to fail, those beliefs quietly influence your actions. But when you choose thoughts rooted in possibility, responsibility, and growth, your behavior begins to change. You become more willing to take healthy risks. You become more open to learning. You become more resilient after mistakes. The words you repeatedly believe eventually become the life you repeatedly create. Relationships also reflect who you are becoming. Trust is earned through consistency. Respect grows through integrity. Influence expands through genuine care for others. The strongest connections are not built on impressing people, but on serving them with honesty, empathy, and reliability. People may initially notice talent, but they remain loyal because of character. Every morning presents a new opportunity to become someone slightly better than yesterday. Not perfect, better. A little more patient, a little more disciplined, a little more courageous, a little more generous. Those improvements may feel invisible in the moment, but over years, they create extraordinary results. Progress compounds, character compounds, wisdom compounds. The person you are becoming today is quietly shaping the opportunities you will recognize tomorrow, the relationships you will build, the decisions you will make, and the legacy you will eventually leave behind. Success is never simply about reaching a destination. It is about becoming someone capable of carrying success with humility, responsibility, and purpose. Wealth without wisdom creates emptiness. Influence without integrity creates instability. Achievement without character creates insecurity because external accomplishments can never permanently replace internal strength. Real fulfillment comes from knowing that your achievements are supported by values strong enough to sustain them. Your future is not determined solely by talent, intelligence, or luck. It is influenced every day by the person you decide to become through your choices, your habits, your mindset, your resilience, and your commitment to continual growth. Every decision shapes identity. Every identity shapes action. Every action shapes results. Over time, those results become the life you experience, making it impossible to separate your future from the person you are choosing to become right now.